Welcome to the Coppercast, our bi-weekly look at the people and ideas that are shaping education in the Copper Country. I'm your host, Dave Sim, CCISD Public Engagement Specialist. Today, we highlight place-based learning through the Lake Superior Stewardship Initiative and its impact on students, thanks to the dedication of teachers like Beth Squires. Through Beth's work, we see how connecting students with the natural world can spark excitement, curiosity, and inspire stewardship for the environment. Here's Beth.
So my name is Beth Squires. I teach 7th through 12th grade science at Chassell. This is my 6th year there, but I've taught in other states. So I taught in Virginia, Arizona, and at an outdoor school in New England. I have a biology degree, so I worked for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service before becoming a teacher for several years. Then I was a teacher. Then I got a bachelor's degree in nursing. So I did that for a while, and then went back to teaching, which is really my true passion and where I want to be.
Beth's journey to becoming a science teacher shows how her experiences have fueled her passion for teaching and hands-on learning. It also forms the foundation for her partnership with the Lake Superior Stewardship Initiative. This initiative connects local schools with community partners to create impactful, place-based learning projects with a focus on environmental education.
Well, I guess it's kind of interesting. When I went to school, I actually did not like science. It was my least favorite subject. And when I went to college, in the first 2 years, you have to get all those classes covered. And I had to take a science class. And I took biology and had an amazing professor, and he changed my life. So then I got my biology degree. And like I said, I worked in the field for a while, and it's really like who I am. So I teach science, but we do science at home. I love natural history and reading books about science. My kids love science. So
that love is what Beth has brought to her students through initiatives like the Biodiversity Project and the Symbiotic Schoolyard curriculum, which she piloted this year with support from the Keweenaw Wild Ones. These projects focus on teaching students about biodiversity by giving them the role of restoration ecologists to restore their own schoolyard.
Well, I think it gives kids or students, it gives them, that hands-on experience. And a lot of these projects are place-based. So there's something that they know about or about where they live. So it provides a deeper connection for them. I still, teach in the classroom, and not every single thing is hands-on, but it all ties back to that. So really that hands-on gives them a sense of ownership. They also work in teams all the time. We do group work, teamwork. So I think that's part of how science really works in the real world, is having those, collaborative experiences and sharing ideas and asking questions. And I think working with LSSI just, gives it, an extra level of support and allows students to have these unique experiences of doing real science.
These types of hands-on projects go beyond traditional classroom teaching. They engage students in real-world science and create a connection with their environment, growing a curiosity and encouraging students to become lifelong stewards of the natural world. And what better place than right on Lake Superior's doorstep?
Well, since I've been at Chassell, I developed what we call a Biodiversity Project. So students learn about the different things in their school forest. And at first, it started with it was really student voice. They wanted game cameras. So I developed a grant to get game cameras, but we needed a project to go along with that. So we ended up deciding on the Biodiversity Project. So students wanted to see things, different species in the school forest. And by using the game cameras, we could see things that we, wouldn't always see if we went out during the day, with a large class of students. So we did that. We also have a weather station that I got from an LSSI grant. So we were tying that biodiversity data and animal movements to weather patterns. So we have a big database, and we're collecting this over the years, and the students are wondering if they'll see changes, in time with weather and climate with our biodiversity.
The Symbiotic Schoolyard curriculum is just one example of how Beth integrates these experiences. With support from the Keweenaw Wild Ones, the school planted a native wildflower garden involving students from kindergarten through high school. The garden isn't only a project, it's a living classroom where students raise butterflies and learn about their life cycles, all culminating in the release of the butterflies at the end of the school year.
So we've been working on that since last spring. It's called the Symbiotic Schoolyard. So it's a curriculum that's aligned with the next generation science standards. And it also ties into biodiversity. So the students go and look at their schoolyard, which is, around the building, mostly just grass, and realize there's not a lot of biodiversity there. And we work through the curriculum, and the, final project is we plant a native wildflower garden, which the students have already planted this year. It was, a great experience. We also had the kindergarten and first grade students out helping to do that as well.
Beth's work not only inspires her students to engage with their environment, but also creates community connections, collaborating with the Keweenaw Wild Ones to working with the KBIC Natural Resources Department and Michigan Tech. These projects show how schools can partner with local organizations to give students unique opportunities that make a real difference in their learning. These projects are also paving the way for students to develop essential and unique skills like critical thinking, teamwork, and problem solving that will help them in their future. In today's world, the importance of these skills is important as ever. Through the Biodiversity Project, students collect data, analyze results, and even propose new questions to investigate. One of the major aspects of the Biodiversity Project is the use of game cameras and weather stations, which allow students to observe and document the wildlife and environmental changes around their school forest. This has led to a growing database of observation, which current and future students use for even more analysis. These ongoing projects give students a sense of legacy as they're able to build on the work of previous classes and leave their mark for those who come after them.
Like I said, that student voice is really, a big part. Like last year, those kids were super into the river, and the students this year are too, but I think they have more hunters this year. So they really wanted, the bait to put out with the game cameras to see if that changed anything. And we've actually already started. And one of them got a 6-point buck on his game camera the other day. So he's really excited. And it's just fun when they, to see that excitement and they're learning and asking questions and, doing science and, they have ownership of it.
The excitement for learning isn't limited to only the older students. The Symbiotic Schoolyard curriculum involves younger ones as well, bringing kindergartners and first graders into the mix. Beth shares how meaningful it is to see younger students working alongside their older peers, learning from them, and being part of something bigger.
It's also great seeing the little kids, the kindergarten, first grade. They were really excited to work with the older kids. They look up to them, and some of them are, they have siblings in different grades. And, just last week in the hallway, I think it was a first grader, stopped. He's like, I remember you. You taught us how to, plant the flowers. And, a week later, he was still really excited about that.
The benefits of these projects extend far beyond the classroom walls. Beth has seen firsthand how her students have taken the lessons they've learned and applied them in their own lives. Many of her students are hunters and fishers and outdoor enthusiasts, and their work in the Biodiversity Project has grown their appreciation for the environment and where they see themselves in it.
Part of it is just, informal observations and asking questions of them, while we're working through the projects. That all these things tie in with the next generation science standards as well. So they tie in with what we're doing in their general ed classes, their general science class, where we have more formative assessments. They have exams. So they are assessed in these, and it's really aligned with the next generation science standards. That new, the Symbiotic Schoolyard curriculum is aligned with the next generation science standards, and there are various forms of assessments that go along with that too.
Another significant component of Beth's work is computational thinking and the importance of technology. Through the help of grants like LSSI, her students have access to advanced tools like GoPro cameras, aquarium observation setups, and butterfly grow kits. These tools make learning more interactive and introduce students to data collection, analysis, and computing skills that are becoming even more important in today's world?
We've also had the KBIC Natural Resources Department. They come out every year. They have a big game camera program. So they come and talk to the students again about biodiversity and share some of their game camera pictures and photos. They've helped students set up the game cameras for the first time. And then this year we also have the Keweenaw Wild ones. So it's really good for the students to have different people come in, and present to them, and then get to experience, different types of, I guess looking at the projects, through a different lens other than just, the school.
In addition to learning about biodiversity, students are also learning how to communicate their findings effectively. Beth has worked with other teachers to ensure that these projects aren't only limited to science. English teachers at Chassell have helped students write nature journals and report on their findings. Yearbook students have documented the projects through photos and videos. This interdisciplinary approach ensures that students are developing a wide range of skills: scientific, technical, and communication. For teachers who might be interested in building a program of their own, she has some advice.
I would say to start with one project, but it doesn't have to be super specific. Like ours is the Biodiversity Project. Biodiversity is a huge, encompasses a huge range of topics. So I'm not rewriting everything from scratch every year. We're adding on to it. So it's not like I'm starting, from ground zero every year. And also, relying on those LSSI mentors. There's a lot of great people, that work in this program, and they're very willing, to help, meet with teachers, bounce ideas off, help with the grant writing process. So I don't know if people always utilize them as much as they could. And then I would say, have a good team. LSSI is, a teamwork project for teachers as well. So, find other teachers at your school that are willing to help out and work together. At Chassell, we have, I don't know how many teachers I work with, the elementary teachers, our English teachers. We have students writing nature journals. They also write about the projects that we do for our community newsletter. Yearbook students take pictures and videos and help put together our final project. So it doesn't just have to be, a science teacher doing it. This is something that can go across grade levels and across the curriculum.
Beth's vision for the future is to keep expanding these projects, involving more students and fostering an even deeper connection between the school and the community. Each year, she listens to her students' ideas, allowing them to shape the direction of the projects. This ensures that each class has a unique experience and leaves its own legacy.
The students, I've never had a class yet that, has not liked what we're doing. So I wouldn't want to start over, but I think having that student voice every year and, what they are particularly interested in, and then adding on to it, that's really how I see it going.
The hands-on projects Beth has been leading are learning experiences that foster teamwork, curiosity, and advocacy for the environment. They empower students to make observations, ask questions, take ownership of their findings. These projects prepare students not only for their academic futures, but for their roles as informed citizens and stewards of our natural world. Thank you to Beth for spending time and sharing her experience. And thank you for joining us for this episode of the Coppercast. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe for more stories just like this. You can find all of our episodes on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube. If you have an idea for a future episode, email dsim@copperisd.org. Thank you for listening and supporting a lifetime of learning.